did the bride beat the brakes up for Cersei like this? Episode 1 and 2 of Creature Commandos is out on Max. Can I tell y'all it'd be good? Let's talk about it. And spoilers if you haven't seen it. I'm glad they took the time to explain everything that we need to know from Suicide Squad and Peacemaker, while also letting us know that Cersei will be the big bad of the season. Sons of Themyscira is such a hilarious concept. Of course, it would be a group of men that hate that there's a safe haven for women. Doesn't understand when they're being exploited so that someone of power can gain more. Cersei is not going to let those men in Themyscira after she conquers it. She knows if she promises them something, they will blindly follow her. She sees the value in those type of people. Frank Grillo makes a live action appearance as Rick Flag Sr. Better see him in this tight ass shirt. Shout outs to him for initially having full on resolve and declining the princess's advances. Thank God he did, because if he didn't, we wouldn't have gotten this banger of a fight scene. This fight scene was so good, it made me rewatch the first 10 minutes of the episode because I had to see why they were squabbling on this level. James Gunn has always been really good at creating choreography that feels very realistic. And even in this animation, I can tell how smart of a fighter Rick Flag was. At the beginning of the fight, he punches Dr. Phosphorus and burns his hand. Course corrects instantly. He begins to only hit the items with his clothes or hits him with other items. Even though this was a very brutal fight, it felt like brothers fighting. Phosphorus could have killed him at any time. The fight ended and Rick Flag had the phone in his hand. It looked like he was like, don't make me call mom because you out here moving crazy. You could tell that this fight bonded them because after it, when Rick Flag was out there getting some buns, Phosphorus respectfully made sure that he wasn't disturbed. That story kind of surprised me. I knew that it would be tied to something tragic. Let's face it, it's unlikely that any of the Creature Commandos actually volunteered. The exception of Flag, who's actually not a Creature Commando, so it doesn't even matter. Even though I knew that her story would be tragic, I just never really thought about it being tied to domestic violence. Since her introduction and her interactions with Nina show her as a self-actualized, very strong woman. Just didn't predict her as an abuse victim on the run for a century. That's wow. The thing that got me tight about Frankenstein being so obsessed with her, the fact that when we first see him, he is on the yacht with some hoes. He's moved on. He has access to women. He feels ownership over the bride. So he's chasing her, not out of love or admiration, because this is his property. Even her name, the Bride of Frankenstein, gives of Fred. Just uttering her name gives connection to him and ownership to him. What I found interesting with the bride and her relationship with this scientist, I think in some way she also interprets this as love. The first two people that she has a relationship with, him and Frankenstein, are both abusing their power over her. And it must have been so hard for her to decipher what's real. I mean, we see when she wakes up, the scientist says she just started existing and she needs to acclimate. And let me tell you, as romantic and sweet as this seemed, scientists ain't shit. This is giving Poor Things. For in this version, Emma Stone is having sex with William Dafoe. This is technically her father. Why is he being romantic with her? Even the romance he did try to give, like this necklace, he took off a corpse. You a scientist with 2 houses, you couldn't get me a necklace from the haberdashery down the block? I want better for the bride. Struggles aside, the bride has hands. I mean... Good for Cersei. Joe did such a great job scaling Cersei and the bride. Because while Cersei was out there shooting magic into the building, Bride was cooking all of the Sons of Themyscira without the help of Nina. In fact, Nina was getting in the way. He's cooking Cersei so hard that she had to turn her hands into balloons. Craziest part about this fight is she won, but they're not going to give us some one-off villain every episode. Creature Commandos are going to have to find a way to try to save Nina and the bride. If Rick Flag and Phosphorus are acting like brothers, these two are for sure acting like sisters, just sneaking out during curfew. Nina is definitely a great stand-in for the audience and a good moral compass for the Creature Commandos. She got some kick to her. I like that final scene where she was like, fuck you, when the bride said she was sorry. I'm about to die because you was out here doing what? Getting a secondhand necklace from your father boyfriend. And I told y'all, Creature Commandos is good. I loved it. The only critique I have is for episode 1, where it was clearly a place setting episode, which isn't quite my jam. I'm gonna go ahead and give the first 2 episodes 4 out of 5 Frankie Flames. And since y'all already on Max, go ahead and check out the DC Studios Showcase. Episode 1 is up now on Max or anywhere you listen to podcasts.